What I watched on Netflix. First episode.
Good evening, guys, gals, and everyone. Welcome to the first ever edition of
What I watched on Netflix. First episode.
There you go. What I watched on Netflix. So, as you can probably already know or tell, because I did it in my intro, I watched Veronica, which is it just literally just dropped on Netflix today. It is a Spanish horror film from the director of Rec? Do we pronounce it Rec? Do we call it Record? Or do we spell it out R-E-C? It's a good question. I have no idea. I'm calling it Rec. Anyways, his name is... I had it, and then I closed it. I remember it. His name is director Paco Plaza. Yes, Paco Plaza. This is his newest film. It premiered... I believe it premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival back in maybe September. So it's been around. People have seen it, but it just surprised, boom, landed on Netflix today. So I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Okay, so the premise behind Veronica, almost forgot the name of the movie there for a second, is it's very similar to the that other horror film that came out, the Ouija one. I do not even remember the name of that one. It was actually a good movie, but I can't even remember it. Anyways, it's basically like that. It's like the Spanish version of that, but I'm not saying Mike Flanagan's sequel or prequel of Ouija was bad, because I actually really enjoyed it. But this one here, Veronica, it's vastly superior. Just so you know, it is a vastly superior version of a Ouija film. It does have all the tropes that we seen before in those type of films. A girl by the name of Veronica and a couple friends. They go to it's like a what do you call it, like a Christian school, or like, the sisters are the teachers and stuff like that. I don't know the name of it. Anyways, I went to like a low rent high school, so I don't know. Lucky to be alive. Anyways, so it's during a total eclipse. Everything that's supposed to happen freaky happens during a total eclipse, just so you know. So, Veronica, she gets a Ouija board. Her and her friends go down into this like abandoned area of the school, and they do their seance. And Veronica wants to talk to her father, who passed away. You see, Veronica, I'll give you a little backstory on her. She's a teenager, she's 15 years old. She basically is raising her siblings. She has two younger sisters and a younger brother. Oh my god, so cute, little kid. It's hilarious. Big beer, like, Coke bottle glasses. Hilarious looking guy. Reason being is, it's not that she has a mother, but her mother works to basically put food on the table. It's not the mother's fault. She has to work. She works at a bar. She's up basically all night, but it's to make money. So Veronica kind of has to take slack. Obviously, Veronica, she doesn't like that she has to do this, but she does, right? There's actually someone that lives across the building from her, and she basically fantasizes that that's her life. The teenager who has a loving father and a boyfriend and everything like that. But it's not so much important to the story, but it's just kind of a neat little side that he put into the film. So anyways, where was I? She does her seance on a total eclipse. All hell breaks loose, basically. And she's not so much possessed, but she has someone that's with her. Something is with her. And it kind of brings it home, and just basically from there, a whole bunch of paranormal activity happens. Supposedly this is based on true events. I don't really believe that. They say it's based on a police report about a detective who went to the crime scene near the end of the film. You kind of see it at the beginning of the film. They show him arriving at the crime scene, and then it cuts back 3 days. But it's like based on his police report. But I don't know. I don't know if that's real or not. But anyway, so all these events are happening, and what's neat about Veronica is the fact that it doesn't rely on jump scares. It doesn't rely on loud, abrasive music. There's hardly any music in this movie. It is mostly quiet, actually, and there's hardly any jump scares at all. There's just creepiness. Look at this. Look, just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about some of the stuff that happened in this movie. I mean, I've seen a lot of horror films. Not a lot of horror films scare me. I wouldn't say it scared me, Veronica, but I would say it definitely gave me goosebumps. Because I love when a horror film puts something in the background and you may or may not notice it as a viewer, right? Like, if you didn't notice it, the scene just plays on. But if you notice it, you get goosebumps. And they don't focus on it, they don't go back to it, it's just there. And it's just creepy. A perfect example would be in the latest Stephen King It film, where Ben's at the library and he's looking through the books about the history of Derry, and the librarian's behind him, and she's just kind of off into the background blurred, but as he's reading it, like, her facial expressions are kind of changing. It was just really creepy, and that's kind of like what Veronica has. It has all this creepy stuff that happens. There is a bit of a drag during the middle. You know, it kind of drags a little bit, plods along, but eventually he starts to like incorporate some kind of neat cinematography and some neat tricks with the camera and different concepts, just to show that as we're getting closer to the final event, things are going crazy, right? For Veronica, like, it's just all this neat camera stuff. She'll be walking and everyone around her is going backwards, but she's walking forwards, and it's just, she's kind of not completely there. Everything's just kind of off kilter. Yeah, so I mean that's Veronica. I mean, I don't want to say too much more. Dust in here. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to ruin it, right? Because it just ended up on Netflix. But I definitely think you should check it out for sure. If you're a fan of those type of horror films, the supernatural, kind of tense, occult mystery that doesn't rely on, you know, like loud noises like that, you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. Reviews seem to be pretty favorable. So yeah, so that's on Netflix. I say give it a watch, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, I hope you enjoyed this very quick first episode of
What I watch on Netflix. First episode.
There we go. And that is all. Crap. Forgot to say goodbye. Number one rule, always say goodbye. Farewell.